Hey, what's up guys? Welcome to Rivals Nexus. So today we're going to check out the dev blog number 3 and just talk about it a little bit. This video is going to be a little bit more casual in nature, but we're going to look at everything as far as like the process for creating characters. They also gave away some of the abilities or kind of the flair behind the abilities for Hela. So we're going to dive into that as well. And if you haven't done so already, we're going to cover everything about the game here on the channel. So consider subscribing and stay up to date. So when they went over this in the dev blog, they kind of talk about how they dive first into the lore for the characters, trying to embody everything about what makes that character. History from the comics. Some of them have like over 80 years of history, like Namor, I think it was like 85 years or so. And then they kind of translate that into how to make it more exciting or like flashy in the game itself for the actual gameplay. They try to blend both of those aspects of the characters to shape and fit them into one of the 3 roles, which with this dev blog, we got the reveal. So we knew about strategists, which is kind of the characters that we were all thinking were more about support. Then we got duelist reveal for the DPS type of characters. And then Vanguard was finally revealed for the tankier type characters. I guess it's kind of interesting. Let's talk about the roles for a second. So I do like the way that the roles have been kind of titled, and it seems like the characters are being developed. So it's not your like super traditional tank is the most beefy characters on the map and kind of just all in. They will probably be similar. Like I think all 3 roles will be similar to a lot of the generic stuff that we usually think about, but this game has a slightly different take on that. Vanguard seems to be like, if you look at Doctor Strange, for example, if you would ask me what role would Doctor Strange be out of tank, DPS, or healer or support, for example, I probably wouldn't have picked the tank to be the first pick. But looking at their moveset from what we've seen from the trailers, the information we've got about Doctor Strange, and then kind of seeing how that plays out, it kind of makes sense. And I think that's one of the most exciting things about learning about the characters and how they're going to be in the game. It's pretty neat to see how they can shape some of them to fit different roles that you might not have thought right away, but it works. And so we know with Doctor Strange, he's going to have some type of shield that he can kind of pull out that has health. He'll obviously be able to create portals for his team. His ultimate Eye of Agamotto seems to stun enemies from the trailer itself. So while it embodies things that would kind of be like a frontliner or someone who engages, it also has just different elements to where it supports the team in a different way than, you know, just a straight on tank would typically in a game. So that's pretty exciting. And then even like duelists, I mean, I guess duelists will probably still be the ones that can go toe to toe with other enemies, but with their kits being revealed, it's probably going to show like different spins that the dev team's going to take compared to other games. And like strategists, for example, we're all thinking, oh, this is a support class, but in this game, they're not going to just be healing, sitting in the back and just making sure everybody's okay. Like the Loki reveal shows that, you know, they're going to be in the mix of everything, vanishing, high pace, and kind of supporting your team still, but they have access to DPS, they have access to heals, they have access to crowd control, which is going to make the strategist kind of be really, really cool to play. And I think that that's going to make it more enticing to players in general who like typically don't play support characters just because they think, oh, it's only about healing, I'm just going to stay in the back, I'm not going to be in the action. I think if they go about this and kind of make those characters more engaging, we'll see a lot more players playing like that strategist role. And then you throw in the fact that this is Marvel and you're going to have like certain characters or superheroes or villains that people just like, that they're going to play on regardless of what role. So I think we'll see probably like a healthier mix of players playing roles in general in this game compared to other games. But yeah, so there we go. There we have it. Vanguard, duelist, and strategist. I like the names for these, and I can't wait to see kind of where all the other characters fall in, and especially their kits when they get revealed. Moving on, they talked about the process of creating Loki and how to highlight his mischievous side and how the fact that he's kind of like a trickster. So they went about making Loki kind of a master of illusions, tricking players on the battlefield, vanishing in and out, and being able to shapeshift for his ultimate, which I think that right there is going to be huge for like momentum swings. Being able to pick like a certain character to shapeshift at the right time and then bring a certain kit for that moment. It could be an offensive kit, it could be a defensive kit. But I think that right there is going to be like huge for players who like use it well. I'm really excited for Loki. We also got with this dev blog some more insight into Hela's abilities and the kind of more of a description thing. But you know, she is the goddess of death and they're blending her deadly grace with aggression. They envisioned Hela as a ruthless and precise death goddess who also is a master of manipulating souls. They drew inspiration from various points of the comics, such as the 2011 Fear Itself events, to more recent iterations. So they say Hela is armed with a lightning-fast basic attack, the ability to transform into a storm of crows, which sounds pretty crazy. And then players who meet their end at Hela's hand, so basically if I'm assuming if she knocks someone out or gets credit for an elimination, they'll find their souls harvested, enhancing her abilities. So maybe she kind of just gets stronger over time. Maybe this plays into her ultimate. We'll have to wait to find out. Her ultimate makes her colossal, increasing in health, and then dishing out even deadlier attacks. So I don't know, if I had to guess, I mean, this is all speculation, guys. So if I had to guess, maybe as she gets more limbs, she gets stronger and then empowering something, or maybe her ultimate, she just triggers it and is automatically empowered. I don't know. It sounds like she's just going to be pretty crazy on the battlefield, dealing out a lot of damage, and you'll have to stay clear of her for sure. So moving on, they also talked about how it's not entirely easy to create characters and abilities, and that there's a challenge in balancing all of these things and all the powerhouse characters that they have in the game. And that kind of makes sense. I mean, they're trying to embody things like the Hulk leaping across the city, Storm gliding through the air, Spider-Man zipping around the map. And they're always trying to aim for that sweet spot for like character themes, but yet at the same time, the game's supposed to be a competitive shooter that's engaging and balanced. They mentioned before that while it's labeled as a shooter, it doesn't necessarily mean it's only and all about guns. I mean, there'll be characters with guns like Punisher and Rocket, but it's also more about players needing to aim various types of attacks quickly and the pacing of player movement and general gameplay. I'm personally excited to think about what the game could turn into with all the lore perspective and the time string entanglement. I mean, I'd love to see some like, you know, short cinematic stories, kind of like some of the other games where it just expands on the lore. Seeing what we've seen with the trailers, they put a lot of like Easter eggs in there. So I'm really excited to see that kind of develop with the lore and the game's story. And I think it's going to be really cool to follow. But yeah, I'm really excited, guys. I also think that it's awesome that the devs do these dev blogs and kind of give us insight into the behind the scenes of their process, and also while teasing some of the things that are coming out. I'm a big fan of this. It's really cool that the devs will take time to put out things like this for the players. And yeah, we're about a week out from the closed test, so as soon as we get anything new, we'll try to make sure to cover it here for you guys. But yeah, that does it for this one. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. We'll see you next time right here on Rivals Nexus.